TitleMatchNetwork.com.
In a fun way, did any of the veterans rib you?
Yeah. The most, I think I got ribbed the most, the veterans, by Mr. Fuji.
Oh,
You know
the
what that
Fuji
is?
ribs. Oh,
Yeah.
all the guys talk about the Fuji ribs.
Mr. Fuji's, he was one of the greatest rib of all time.
Yeah. Do you have any good Fuji rib stories?
I can't. Well, I can remember some of his Fuji stuff. I think one of the Bulldogs, one of the British Bulldogs, the Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy Smith. I don't know which one did it, but I think one of them, you know, that hat that he wears in the ring, I think one of them pooped inside his hat. That was one of their ribs, but some of the Fuji's ribs are some dangerous ribs.
Yes.
His ribs can get to where it can really mess you up, and really, but a lot of them take it serious. But you better be careful who you rib. You know what I mean? I don't think I was pretty a ribber, but then Fuji wouldn't rib me much as a lot of other guys. Mr. Fuji only ribbed guys that he don't like. That's pretty much how that worked.
Gotcha.
If he didn't like you, he's gonna rib you. I didn't get a lot from him. He pretty much, everything was a kid. This was way before the 1, 2, 3 Kid came out. Because my name was the Kid. Kid, everywhere I went. Kid. Kid. Hey, Kid, give me some water. Kid, this. And I did it. I did it because where we grew up from, again, was with respect. We learned to respect our elders. And that's the culture we're from. That's the culture, you know, where we live from, the America Samoa. That's how our parents taught us. And I carried that until today. Even to you. If I'd offer you some water or you need some water, I would get up and get it for you. It's not because what I do as a celebrity, you know, we have other sides of us. And this is what this is about.
Sure.
People don't know.
Sure.
All they see is this guy as he comes in the ring, he's the character, and then boom, he's out of sight. You don't hear from him again. So I'm pretty much glad, I am glad that we're doing these interviews things to talk about, because people need to know the other side of us, and hopefully they see nothing but good lights and good things out of it, you know.
Yeah.
So, but we have messages for kids out there too. Don't try this at home.
At what point did the office start to notice that you looked like Jimmy Snuka, and that maybe there might be something that we could work with here?
I know you were going to get to the Snuka part.
Oh, we got a lot of Snuka questions.
I'm sure Snuka got some questions about me too. I think what happened, I don't know the whole story. Again, it's the truth. I really don't know the whole story of what happened to Snuka, but the time that I came in, again, it was timing. You know, like you talked about in the ring, it was hard. Everything was timing. So when I came in at a time where it was in Springfield, Massachusetts, right? Some guy didn't show up for this is what I remember.
Okay. Again,
I don't know a lot about what happened to Snuka, but I'm going to get into the story, because I'm going to have to go from one to the three. A gentleman didn't show up. They were short one match, Springfield, Massachusetts. Jose Estrada.
Okay.
That's the match that I remember. Nobody showed up, and they were short one match, so they put me in it. So I went and I wrestled, and I listened to Jose Estrada, whatever he told me to do. Pat Patterson was there. Aponsica was there. The house, full house. But Pat Patterson was the agent that night.
Okay.
Again, it goes back in the 80s. He watched me wrestle. He looked at me, and he said, wow, this kid is good. And he went to told Aponsica, and he goes, well, you know, again, all they told me is, you remember, you know how to dug a clothesline? Yes. You know how to drop kick? I said, yes. You know how to knee frog? I said, yes. He goes, can you come up top rope? I said, yes. I pretty much did everything that Jimmy was doing at that time, that he was so hot on fire that nobody even imagined that anybody else can do it.
Right.
Except me, but there's this island boy, which is me. So anyway, I did that. And when I went through that match, Pat Patterson recognized me. And when he got a hold of Vince, he said, hey, you got to see this kid. Now, all this time, whatever's going on with Jimmy at the time, I don't remember what was going on with Jimmy. I was just doing what I was told to do.
Gotcha.
They flew me in the Cape Cod, Long Island. Do they have a Cape Cod here in
New
New York?
They have a Long Island, New York.
Okay.
With the Nassau Coliseum.
Cape Cod. I think it's called Cape Cod or
maybe
it was Long Island. You know.
Yeah.
That's what happened when you take a lot of bumps, and just thank God that I'm still all hopefully I'm all here.
Gotcha.
And then you got my cousin Samu, the great Samu.
Sure.
Okay, you remember when he was here with Appa and Sika back in the days?
Absolutely.
WF, there were 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Okay, yeah, that was my cousin that took me out there. So they flew us out there, and he was supposed his job was to make me look, because Pat Patterson went and told Vince McMahon Sr. that, hey, there's a kid here, Tonga Kid here, that you got to see him. You got to see him, because now that I put 2 to 2 together, the reason why they wanted to see me is because I look like Jimmy. But the time, I guess Jimmy was going through some problems, and I guess back in the days where I guess a girl died in the tub or
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I you know, all that time. You know, again, I was young. These guys were a whole lot. Not, I think he's older. When I'm 40, he's got to be 60 or 50 or 58. I don't know. He's got to be somewhere around there. But you know, they were a whole lot older than me, so they knew the game. Again, I was just doing what I was told. So, where was I? Okay, the girl passed away. Then now that I came in, Pat Patterson takes me down there, and this big man takes a look at me. Oh yeah, he's good. So a week later, this is a week later or 2 weeks later, I get a booking. And a booking is called a sheet, where you get a sheet like you have in your hand, and the booking for you to go wrestle everywhere. Okay. So in order for me to get better at my wrestling, I can't wrestle once a month. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to wrestle like on the road every day, pretty much 7 days a week.
Sure.
And, you know, and they were putting me with guys that would teach me. Sourdough Blunt, you wrestle him. Teach S.T. Delivery Jones. Remember him? He does. Of course. And he haven't won a match in that. He probably did, but he was famous because what he his character and losing, and he was a great guy on top of that, out of the ring. So, but their job was to teach me, and you know, again, I was young and I was just following the rules, just you know, doing what I was told to be done. Yeah, doing what I was told to be do. So I was doing all that stuff, and then come to find out later that this is where they had to come up with a name for me. And they called me Jimmy Snuka's cousin. And it was Vince McMahon Sr., and I never forget. It was in Allentown, Pennsylvania, I think it was.
Probably that's where they did the TVs.
Well, there was one more place that did TV. Hamburg, Connecticut.
Hamburg, PA.
Pennsylvania? Okay, I maybe that's where they was at, Hamburg. Because that's when they broke the news and said, is there any other name? This is where we came up with my name, the Tonga Kid, and my uncle Appa and Sika were the one that helped me come up with the name Tonga. Tonga is an island, because at that time they had from Fiji, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, from Hawaii, Don Morocco, from America Samoa, which is the Wild Samoans. I don't know if they had Western Samoa. I don't know if that Siva Aki was there at the time.
Later.
Okay, well, these are all these South Pacific wrestlers. Yes. Well, I'm an island boy too, and I'm in South Pacific. Where you know, there's only like a couple more islands left, and I thought, well, there's no Tonga here, but you got Fiji, you got Samoa, you got West Samoa, you got Hawaii, but there's no Tongans. So okay, so we came up with the name as Tonga is an island. It's the name, you know, it's Tonga, like Hawaii. Well, we just threw the kid in because at the time I was a kid. So they said, Tonga Kid, that's it, we'll go with that. Yeah. You're Jimmy Snuka's cousin. I said, okay. So, you know, again, I just went along with it. As the month went along, weeks went along, weeks went to months. And then before you know it, I was in the ring with a chair beating the shit out of Piper. Yeah. And all that started from there. And then Jimmy fell out. He fell out somewhere. He just fell out of the picture. And I guess he was going through so many things. Like I said earlier, you know, the woman died. He's been going through some problems with the company or you know, again, I don't know. I was young and I don't know. I really don't know what happened to Jimmy. I feel bad, but when he came back, they tagged him up with me, or they tagged me up with him. I put it that way. They tagged me up with him because he was he was on fire. Sold out everywhere. Everywhere he went was sold out. Sure. Packed. And here's this is me. I was thankful I was part of it, but I never knew it was going to get this large. Wow. Just like it is now. But people don't understand. I'm a legend. I'm a legend.
You walked into the hottest feud in the business at the time.
The hottest angle.
Yeah, hot in the business.
Yeah. Didn't even know it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I didn't even know what I was doing what I was told to do, but didn't know at the time. Like I said, It was the hottest thing. You got top heels, Piper. You had Cowboy Bob
Mhm.
You had
Wondorf.
Pop, Mr. Wonderful. But then they had that Hogan thing with Iron Sheik or thing, or he beat him.
Yeah.
But that was compared to the angle we had. Not that I'm knocking Hogan, but Hogan had his thing. You had you have A, then you have B. You couldn't say if they threw us in B, we still sold the house. They threw us in A, it was probably even better, but we were right there with them because we had, like you said, the hottest angle in wrestling history himself, and the business, because at that time it was everywhere we went. People hated Piper. He was the hottest heel.
Mm-hmm.
Snuka, one of the top baby face, and then here I come along and had this nappy hair, long hair, young kid, big lip, nice build, unique body. And, again, I was just at the right place at the right time. Again, it was timing.
Yeah.
I just thank the Lord that I've made it this far. And, I'm still wrestling, doing an independent show here and there, still trying to stay in shape, which is important because you got to stay in shape as your age, as you grow older, your body changes. Your food, the way you eat, and your bones. And thank God I can still get up out of bed. I don't need anybody to help me get up. You know? But I try to stay good. I try to stay healthy and stay focused. And I love those days with Jimmy Snuka. I could talk about this for hours and hours, but I've learned a lot from it too. And when I ran into that show, them angles that we did, and everyone that I started to make the shirt that I want Piper. Then when Snuka came back, it was about tag teams. It was me, Snuka, Piper, Orndorff, Piper, Mr. Wonderful. I mean, he had so many armies. Yeah. He was switching back and forth, and we didn't know which way to go. Yeah. There was this me and Snuka. I don't even think we had another baby face besides Hogan that was there, right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys were selling out the one town. They were doing the other town with Hogan. Exactly. Yeah. And that was called A and B. Right. Back in those days, they called it the A and the B town. Yeah. So it wasn't B to me because it was full everywhere we went, So those were the good old days, man. I mean, the wrestling nowadays is totally different than it is back in our days. Yeah. But again, Vince has turned the notch up. He's a genius at what he does. I'm hoping one day that we'll get a phone call from him that we'll join all the Samoan reunion again. Wow, that'd be nice. Together, and I pretty much want our name to become like a Homeland Samoan Security. That's pretty much what I wanted to do with me and my brothers and my cousins, just to put us all together. Just like they had the Hogan, the NWO. Right, so right. We want to have something like that too. To send a message out, you know what I mean? Sure. Just to go out there and let them know, because we can still do it. I mean, if Ric Flair can still wrestle that long and Snook and all these guys. Exactly. I'm only 30. I'm only 40. I just turned 40. Wow. And all my brothers are about the same age as me, 38, 39. The youngest one is my brother Humanga, and I have some cousins in the bit. So there's a lot of us. We all got talent. Oh yeah. We just got to encourage you though, just to do the right thing and learn from our mistakes and learn from watching other wrestlers. What they do. So